in black, playing Pathfinder Kingmaker, and today we're gonna talk about the Duelist. We always start off in role-playing terms. Now, who is he role-playing wise? If I would describe him role-playing wise, I would describe him as maybe greased up deaf guy, if you remember in Family Guy. Someone who's very slinky, who you can't really catch. No matter what you do, no matter how you try to stab him, you can't really stab him. He's so confident in his ability to dodge attacks. And that defines his entire character. He's kind of the natural extension of like the bard or rogue, someone who's more specialized in sword training and stuff like that. Who is he though gameplay wise? Gameplay wise is both a tank. I don't like saying tank because there's no such thing as a tank in a real role-playing game, but you know, because there's an AI and everything, and because they tend to prioritize the closest target, you can kind of tank in this game. It's both a tank and damage dealer, so it's a very, very solid subclass. And if I would rate him on a scale, I would put him at 100% combat prowess and even 20% utility, and that comes from the fact that he actually has a good progression of his skills. He has the same progression, I think, as the rogue and bard, which is very, very high, and also he is incentivized to pick up a lot of intelligence, so it kind of makes him, weirdly enough, as both a good melee fighter and a skill monkey, which is weird, a weird combination there. He has a D10 hit die, much like the fighter. He has a very good base attack bonus progression, 1 per level. The only thing that is a little bit bad maybe about his progression would be his saves. He gets the highest of his saves would be the reflex save, and he suffers a little bit for his fortitude and will save, which is a little bit bad because fortitude and will are the most important saves for the late game. But except for that, super solid progression, I must say. So, how do you get into Duelist? Well, you need mobility 2, you need dodge, you need weapon finesse, combat mobility, and base attack bonus 6. This means that the earliest you can pick this class up is at level 7, and there's a lot of ways you can go into this. I think that any melee class can just go into Duelist, and it won't really be a problem for them, but you need to be a little bit wary of your ability or your skill points, I should say, because depending on how you allocate your skill points and depending on how good equipment you have, the Duelist might be good or he might be godlike. The Duelist can get insane amount of armor, and the Duelist also benefits a lot from having no armor, wearing light armor, and also from wearing a light weapon or a one-handed piercing weapon. So, as it so happens, the monk also benefits from having no armor. He also benefits from having light weapons. So you can, for instance, wear a Kama, which is a very good weapon because there's a lot of good Kamas later in the game. There's +5 Kamas, a lot of them in the game that you can pick up. So something like that synergizes well with a monk, and you can start off as a monk. You can also use Flurry of Blows, which also works with light weapons, and you have extra attacks, you have your wisdom modifier to your AC, and then when you get into Duelist, you also can add your intelligence bonus to your AC. You can't add in the same way as the monk, which gets everything just by specking 1 level into monk. The Duelist is more incentivized that you go deeper into the class. You don't get everything from just 1 level. When wearing light or no armor and not using a shield, the Duelist adds 1 point of intelligence bonus, if any, per Duelist level as a dodge bonus to her armor class. So, this means that you both need to have that intelligence modifier, which is probably gonna be high though, probably gonna be +3, +4, +5, +6, +7, maybe in the late game when you have some good stat buffing equipment. And you also need to have the appropriate Duelist levels to be able to benefit from this. But it's a very, very good bonus. And then you also get Precise Strike on top of this, which is very, very strong. The Duelist gains the ability to strike precisely with light or one-hand piercing weapon. Note that is also a one-handed piercing weapon. If you want to use a piercing weapon, it needs to be one-handed. You can't use like an, I don't know, S-stock or something. Adding her Duelist level to her damage roll. So this also incentivizes you to go very deep into it, because it's essentially like you get 2 strength per level, because, or if you were to use a strength weapon, for instance, which you're not really incentivized to do it. You're more incentivized to use dexterity. There are, for instance, you pick up weapon finesse, which makes you use your dexterity instead of your strength when using melee attacks for attack rolls. And there's also things which you can pick up either by going rogue or by specking into a special ability. I think it's called slashing strikes, which makes you able to use your dexterity modifier instead of your strength modifier on your damage rolls. So you can get an insane amount of damage if you do that, both from the precise strike and that, and on top of that, having all those good saves. So Monk is very good. Paladin can be a solid thing. If you want to maybe spec a little bit into Charisma, you could do Scaled Fist then. It's probably better. for the monk class, but it can't go wrong. Any melee subclass I think can benefit from going into Duelist, especially if you have some intelligence and if you're a dexterity type build. They also get the ability to parry on from 2nd level, where they can choose to make one attack less, but they have a chance to parry their opponent's strike. So how this works is that you make one strike less in combat, and then you have a chance to parry your opponent's attack, and your opponent then rolls an attack and you roll an attack, and if your attack roll is higher, then you parry their attack, but you can only parry their first attack, and in the late game often monsters will have 4 attacks or something, and only 1 attack that will be removed. And there's other things which synergize with parry later on. You also get improved reaction plus the bonus on initiative checks, and at 8th level it increases to 4. Sure, it's a nice bonus, but as I've stated earlier about, if you've seen my other guides, about initiative, I don't think it's that important. It's more important in pen and paper than it is here, because here you're probably gonna have the initiative every time, because you're gonna start off the fights with casting fireballs, you're gonna have prepared, casted all your buffs and everything before you go into every fight, so it's not gonna matter too much if you have the initiative or not. You get enhanced mobility, which gives +4 bonus to AC against attacks of opportunity, which is nice. You get combat reflexes for free at level 4, and it gives you an additional attacks of opportunity per round equal to your dexterity bonus, another thing which incentivizes you to have high dexterity. And you get riposte at level 5. A duelist can make an attack of opportunity against any creature whose attack she successfully parries, so long as the creature is attacking is within reach. So that's quite, and that adds another benefit of using the parry skill there. You get acrobatic movement. It's no longer where you're no longer slowed by difficult terrain. There's a lot of ways of getting this, by the way, so it's not super strong ability, but it's quite nice. You get elaborate defense, which gets even more AC. You get +1 dodge bonus to AC for every 3 levels in Duelist, so you get 3 extra dodge bonus there. So if you think about it, if you have a monk Duelist, so and you have high intelligence, so let's say you have, just to theorycraft there, you have the highest possible intelligence modifier you can get, which is like +10, and you have the highest dexterity, which is like +10, and then you have the highest wisdom for, which is like +10. So you have like +30 on your armor, and then you have all the other things like natural armor bonuses, and then maybe a bracelet of armor and everything that you can cast on your character. You can have an insane armor. So you can have like 60, 70. Nothing is going to be able to hit you if you do that. And if you have, but you're very dependent on this class on having good stats, and you're very dependent on having good items on the character. This is very item independent. You will probably be good anyways, but if you have very good items, you will be insanely good. So yeah, that's a good thing. You also get Deflect Arrows, which you can pick up from Monk quite easily anyways, but if you are fine with waiting all this time until 9th level, you can pick it up here. I wish you would get it a little bit earlier, but yeah, that's it. And then you get Crippling Critical at level 10, but keep in mind that you might not get here, since you can at earliest pick it up on level 7, and I ended my run at level 16, so you might get here, you might not get here. When you confirm a critical hit using a light or one-handed piercing weapon, you can apply one of the following penalties in addition to the damage dealt. Reduce the target movement speed by half, 1d4 strength damage or dexterity damage, -4 penalty on all saving throws, -4 penalty on armor class, or 2d6 points of bleed damage. So it's quite a nice bonus when you crit, which is gonna be, depending on if you wear a keen weapon or not, it's going to be like 1 in 4 or 1 in 8, something like that. So from time to time you're gonna be able to get that off, but as I said, it's going to be for the very, very late game. Also, I forgot to mention Grace. At 4th level, the Duelist gains an additional +2 competence bonus on reflex saving throws, which is nice, but if we were to rank the saves, the most important save in the game, I would say, is Fortitude, followed by Will, followed by Reflex. So it's the least useful save, but it's still quite good. So this subclass in summer is quite strong. It has both a way to gain very high amount of damage, and it also has very good defense. That is pretty much it, I think. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.